This is Minas Morgul. I did this on request of Apollo 57, and little did I know what I got myself into, because we don't have much to go by. There's the text I'm rolling across the screen here from the books, and then there are some few glimpses we get in Peter Jackson's movie The Lord of the Rings, and that's all. So I've done a lot of searching, and I've come up to the conclusion that trying to replicate what is in the movie would be a starting point. You see here I'm playing about with the lights, because one of the big things about this particular construction is the way the light is done, and I think I got away with that fairly well. Basically I borrowed some torches around the walls to make sure the lighting was thrown upwards. Anyway, this is the gateway. Quite an elaborate one. It is wide enough. I tested from the movies. It was wide enough to have 5 orcs side by side, and it had the height of about 10 bent over hunched cave trolls, so I figure about 30 meters high, and assuming the blocks are 1 by 1 meter, the gateway is 30 meters high. So let's just set the lighting for a bit of mood lighting here, and then I'll show you a bit more of the fortress. So the castle is constructed as a double wall, almost a concentric castle with a center tower up there. The outer walls are fairly tall. There are a couple of ways up. I've made sure not to make too many routes up, but we'll take this one in a second to have a look at what the defensive position will be like from up here. So one thing is shooting across to the outside, and then shooting towards the inside, assuming the enemy would have breached the walls or breached the gate. And there's the central tower. So this is the rear of the fortress, and this is where the fortress is quite interesting, because the front of the fortress is very different from the rear. The rear is basically a flat wall with some turrets on it. As you can see, I've used rock for the crenellations and the upper levels, both for colour and because that's what it looks like in the movie, and it turned out pretty well. Then a lot of cobblestone for the courtyard. Yeah, but again, the outer wall here, you can walk around the whole thing, but the outer wall is separate from the inner wall. There is actually no way where you can get from the outer wall directly to the inner wall without going through the secondary gates. I'll show you those in a second. So here's the view from one of the taller towers. There's the view towards the front entrance, central tower, and the rear topmost tower as well. And here's the front entrance. That itself also has quite an elaborate overhang here. Again, it's taken from the movie. It gives you a nice view onto any attackers over the gate. And of course the gate would be like, oh, that scared the hell out of me. Anyway, you'd have double doors, wooden, braced with metal and what have you. Of course you can't make those yet in 7 days to die, so I hope they'll be implemented soon. Oh, more zombies. Let's kill them. So 5 orcs should be able to pass in here, abreast. And there you have it. That's the front entrance. And the lighting looks pretty good. That lamppost, maybe I should have gotten rid of that. But if you get rid of the lamppost, the lighting itself on top of it will still it'll be hanging around in the air. That gravity doesn't work on it. There's a tour around the outer wall. Again, look at the lighting. I think that turned out pretty well. A scenic shot there with the setting sun in the background. Or is it the rising sun? I don't know. Anyway. So maybe we should have a look at the inner walls. Here's what a visitor would see. Massive stairway, and then there's the inner courtyard. Again, cobblestone across the lot. Took me ages to do. And here is the throne room. So you have galleries left and right, and small chairs. I just wanted to put some more light up there, you know, to accentuate that, you know, big boss man is sat up there on those chairs. Here's the interior of the tower. Now, this tower here took me quite a while to do, and as you can see, I've used a lot of metal trussing to support it, because as you can see from the outside, it actually slims down as it goes upwards. Quite a chore to do that without the whole thing collapsing. I'll talk more about that in a second. And we're back at the rear side, where you can see there's a gap between the inner and the outer wall. A narrow gap, but a gap nonetheless, so no one should be able to... Oh, seems like a zombie's ruined my floor here. Let's fix that. But no one should be able to go from the outer wall directly to the inner wall, which means that any attacker would be stuck on the outer wall even if he got onto it using ladders or whatever. So now this is the innermost courtyard. You see the stairways up to the inner wall. We can have a look at some of the inner towers. So there are two rings of walls and two rings of towers, of course. There you go. And you see, even if an attacker gets onto the first wall, you still have flanking fire and good overwatch. And here's the central tower. It's very large. Now, this is the whole rear of it. You don't actually see in the movie, so I've taken that off a model someone did. A real-life model made out of styrofoam and so on. You took a picture. I'll link the images and descriptions I've used down below. Here you get a view from the topmost rear tower. As I was building this here castle, I was thinking it was a weird shape of walls, because typical medieval castles you would have either square towers or round towers, and here you have these triangular type towers, which remind me more actually of what you'd find in Star Force in the 1600s, which were designed to withstand cannon shot. But as I was building it, I realized that actually they provided quite good flanking fire, though not the angling that would deflect shots from catapults and so on. So anyway, this is where we get on into the tower, and there's the gallery where visitors, bystanders, the court could oversee any visitors coming in audience and so on. And I'll show you a little bit more about that stairway in a second. There is, you see, a rear entrance to the tower. I think this is called the Moon Tower, by the way. You see there's seating for guards, maybe a cave tour and some orcs, I don't know. Here's a little hole. You can see something down there. I wonder what that is. Going down, 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 and here we are. Oh, that's what it is. Solitary confinement. So that must mean that we're in the dungeon. Cell number 1, a bed, nothing else. When I close the door, it's dark because there's no light in there. Ha! Oh, so I think I should have fed that guy. Anyway, I do wonder how the goblins must have got down here and eaten half of that guy. Poor chap. Anyway, that's the dungeon. I mean, come on, no castle without a dungeon. Gotta have a dungeon. So we're back in the guard room, and there's the stairway going up to the antechamber, or the main hall, or whatever, something like that it's called. And this stairway is quite interesting. So it's got a couple of twists and turns, and here you can see how it goes all the way up. I spent a lot of time arguing with myself whether I should actually create floors, because I could have created floors in this tower. There's lots of room for it, living accommodations and kitchens and barracks and so on. I decided in the end actually it would look a lot better just leave it as is and then create this precipitous stairway where you could quite easily fall off, as I have done a couple of times. But anyway, I thought that was kind of a nice touch. And we're up on the top of the moon tower. You can see the triangular outcroppings on the walls. I've done my best to make the whole castle symmetric. I think I'm pretty close. Actually, I know I'm pretty close. Apart from the rear stairs on the rear wall, I know I'm very close, and there's actually only one error, so let me know if you spot it. But from up here, I don't know. I mean, you wouldn't be able to defend anything. I think that's more for show, and I'll put a bit of a campfire up there. And this is the sorcery room, because I don't know, Minas Morgul means the Tower of Dark Sorcery or something like that. So that's the Sorcery Room. And here we get the full view. And look at that. So in total we've spent about 10,000 reinforced concrete, 2,000 or 3,000 cobblestone, 2,000 or 3,000 stone, and a couple of thousand metal trussing. Let me know if there's anything else you would like me to build. Let me know if you like this. I'll link some information in the text below. And other than that, I hope you've enjoyed it. So until next time, stay frosty.